So yeah, fencing with stuff. If you learn the kata of bojutsu and particularly the bojutsu kata, you learn a number of defensive moves. Like in karate, you have the uchi, joran, and giran, and all that. And the same you have for the bow, right? You have some kind of sakakao no show. You have like this where you scoop up and then counter, or you have some churan level block, which is like that. Right, you have a block with the rear side on the churan level, and you have, of course, you have a get-on block if somebody's thrusting to your knee or your foot, or maybe with the glaive or with the naginata trying to cut below, which is a typical technique and which will incapacitate. You know what I mean? Because your opponent, he cannot walk anymore, so he cannot fight anymore. So you will just cut the leg, right, like that, and this is how you block it, either like this way or that way, right? So you got all sorts of defenses, even joran like that, right? Block like that and counter like that, and throughout the curriculum, we're reaching the 5th stan level. There are so many different defenses or uki techniques, how you may call it, like deflections, which also would be combined with footwork in actual application, which you cannot see in the kata usually how it's done. So you have to figure it out. Right. For example, in Chinen Shikiyanaka, there is this technique of a block, and you're shivering the ball around, and you have to move the body in order to facilitate that technique. You cannot just stand here and do this technique, and then like in the kata, right? But that's a very basic level. But some of the most important techniques, actually two of the most important techniques of defense, deflection or uke, or let's call it fencing, like when you're in the regular standing position, like the kamae, which you would use in kumite, is like this in bojutsu. It's found in Chinen Shikiyanaka no kun, and it's a very high level kata that only senior practitioners learn. And this is one of the paradoxes of Okinawan Kubudo, that many of the actual techniques that you can use that are practical are hidden somewhere so far away, and you're working on all kinds of stuff, everything, stuff that's not gonna save you probably. So the technique is very easy. The reason for it is because the most dangerous technique in bojutsu is the thrust, and particularly the thrust to the face portion of the body. Even if you assume like there is no protective equipment in Okinawan bojutsu that has ever been found historically, and even today, there are still people who just say, yeah, right, you gotta take all that, right? The beating and that. Well, I don't think so. If you smash your bone and your capsules and all that, you cannot go to work. And your king cannot use you anymore. So you're a useless human resource. And that has never been good. It's not good today. That's why people have protective equipment, right? Except in MMA, which is not very clever actually. And you use protective measures. You say in karate, okay, I'm gonna do just a touch feeling. I'm not gonna break the person's face. Why would I do that? Sport and Budo is a sport. It developed with the Western idea of sport. You cannot put it apart. You cannot, say this is sport and Budo is not the same, because sport has been defined upon the idea of sport, just with a Japanese narrative on it, and with the, of course, with the content of martial techniques. But I'm going back to the two techniques of Chinen Shikiyanaka. So if you do this here, this is the most dangerous technique. Even if you got pushed here and that, without protective equipment, it's not gonna hurt. But except you have a really strong thrust. But if you have just a light, like mosquito sting to the face or to the jaw or to this part here, it has an impact. It's gonna knock out a teeth or something. So, all right, it's very bad for human resources, and you don't want to have in your own kingdom. You want to have people running around who are, I'm gonna say that, who are cripples basically, or who are beaten ugly. You don't want that, right? This idea some people have from bojutsu, and how hard it is and how much fighting there is in it, or combat, real, like, it's a lot of stupidity in there. I'm sorry that I have to say this. So once I got a friend come over and from another country, and is a good friend of mine. So we were talking about bojutsu, and I said, look, I want to show you two techniques which are from higher kata, and these are very good for actual fencing with this stuff, for the actual fencing, right? For that. And so I said, just give me a nokitsuki, but please do it on the chudan level, just for security reasons. And you know what all karateka do? They say, yeah, okay, and then they go, ah, and thrust to the face. Right? That's what they all do. That's what karateka do, because they're warriors, right? They are real warriors, right? The super intelligent tacticians, warriors. They cannot even follow the simplest rules just for the sake of trying something out, having like a theoretical analysis of a technique. I'm talking a little bit too much. If you know me, that's what I do sometimes. Actually, when I'm with other people, I don't talk that much. It's just in front of the camera. And also, sometimes I don't have a plan about what I'm talking. You might have noticed it already. So therefore, I sometimes, digress and get some curves, but I'm getting to it. So here are the techniques I wanted to share. And now everybody's gonna say, well, oh, that's so easy, that's so dumb. I knew that already, my grandma can do it better. But the techniques are this. It's one, super good technique, right? So you're attached, right? As if your hands are in kaki attached. And you feel the other guys, you feel the weapon. It's called feel. It's an old concept. You find it in historical European martial arts. It's called anbinden, to bind on the weapon and to feel on it, right? And you see it in fencing, right? When they provoke a move, you push a little and you go through, and then this is how you fence. And the same is true for a bojutsu. It's not like that. No, it's not. It's like, you gotta be careful, because there's only the quick and the dead. And so this is the first one. When you feel you're in the kama, you're in the position, you're in the, let's say, kaki position. The weapons are attached, so you can feel what he's doing. He's pushing. You're gonna take it to the side. This is enough, right? You don't have to do like like that, like many people do, because that's too big, that's too slow, that's, provides, he's provoking you, he's provoking the mistake, you're taking it away, and then you're open like a what? Yeah, then you're open. So this is it, 1, 2, and this is in Chinen Shikiyanaka. And it will take you like 15 years to get there, to learn the first piece that's actual fencing. And here it is. 1, 2, 1, 2. You see, in the second one, because the position of the bow is with the right hand forward and you have a rear end, there is a counter in the move. There it is, right? You would strike below the hand or you would strike below the chin. So that's it. 1, 2. 1, 2. Inside, outside. Inside, outside. Inside, outside. Inside, inside, outside. Inside, outside. Inside. Hey. And so you project your face. This part of this contains the brain also, I hope.